I am muted. Let me try that again. I was muted and I apologize for that. We are live. Thank you for being here. Thank you for giving up some time on your Black Friday afternoon to be here with us. First things first, someone put down in the chat how the sound sounds, and then we will get going. I'm going to try my best to be cognizant of your time and get you out of here in the time allotted. Where is the slideshow? And there we are. So thank you for being here, and we are going to do our best to get you out of here in an hour. If someone would just drop down, make sure my mic is working, make sure all of the pieces are in place. Somebody let me know in the chat how the sound is doing. Sound is a bit warbled. Okay, so signal's probably a bit low. That might happen from time to time, but we're going to power through it. So, as I said, thank you for being here. I really do appreciate you giving up this time. We are here to learn the strategy, the secret of how to have more for your family. Now, we are here, and I feel strongly led that to help fathers fulfill that command from Proverbs. It says, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. But just because I'm talking about fathers, I'm not leaving anyone out that might not be a parent yet or might not be a man. Basically, this is geared to anybody who is responsible for what they consider their family. All right. So maybe you are like me and you get your wife and your kids. Maybe you're a single mom. Maybe it is just you and the goldfish. All right. Maybe that's your family. Maybe your family is your Call of Duty group, whatever you call them. And maybe you're the one that they turn to be responsible. Whatever you consider a family, your family, if you're the one that they look to make the decisions, then this is for you. And so the question there is, do you want more in your life? And do you want more in your family's life? If the question there is obviously after that, more what? If there's something missing in your family's life, in your life in particular, and you don't know what it is, then reach out to us. That is more of a spiritual question, and we're happy to have that conversation with you. But if there is something missing in your life, in your family's life, and you actually do know specifically what it is, what you need more of, and that is what we are here for today. Usually, when people talk about, I want more of generally one of three things. I need more money in my life, in my family's life. I want more relationships, maybe closer relationships, maybe more of them, maybe more friends. I want more health. These are the general three areas that people talk about. But there's one that gets left out a lot, and that is time. And my goodness, does it seem like time is speeding up lately? Like we just need to grab a TARDIS and slow it down and jump back in time. Does it seem to anybody out there that time is ticking faster than it used to? I mean, my wife and I are going on a cruise on January the 3rd. We have a little countdown calendar. Every day we erase a number, put a new number on there. I think it's like 36 days. 36 days from now, Christmas and New Year's will be over with. And it just blows my mind. Time is just slipping away. And we think, well, we want more time to spend with our family and more time to spend the money that we earn, maybe more time to earn some money, more time to develop our health. But the reality is that these things are interchangeable. They're interdependent. That it's the relationships we have and the money that we have and our health that help us enjoy our time, and our time helps us enjoy them. So that's what we're going to focus on here. By the end of this training, we're here to show you how to level up your life to have more time without making yourself miserable in the process. Oh my goodness. I remember several years ago, probably a couple decades ago. Well, I mean, that made me sound old. I just said, hey, we're going to be coupon people. We're going to be those people that do all the coupon stuff, and we're going to save some money, and we're going to try to, pinch a penny and stretch it that way by doing coupons. So we decided to watch one of those couponing shows. And after a 30-minute show, actually my wife left about 20 minutes into it. She couldn't handle it. She's like, let's never talk about this ever again. And we never did. There are just some things in life when you try to be more efficient at what you're doing can just suck the life out of you. So that is not this. If you would do me a favor, I want everybody out there to go to your phone and tell me what your average screen time is. I know we're live streaming on a couple of different platforms right here, but just if you feel comfortable, now here's the instructions how to get there. But if you feel comfortable, put your average daily. I said stream, I meant screen. Put your average daily screen time in the chat if you feel comfortable. If you don't feel comfortable, just remember the number. But in order to find it on Android, you're going to go to something called Digital Wellbeing. A lot of you might not even know it was there. We need to turn it on. It just shows you what your daily screen time is. An iPhone is actually called screen time. But just remember that number. Put it in the chat if you feel comfortable. If you don't, just whatever you do, remember that number. That's going to be important for later on. Now, I want to touch on one more thing before we move forward. Everything we're doing today is based on biblical principles. I firmly believe that the Bible has an answer for any aspect of life. People think it's a religious book. It's got some religion in it, but it's mainly a how-to manual on how to live your life. And there's nothing that we're going to do today, as we're going to talk about today, that's going to conflict with whatever religious beliefs you may have, even if you are a follower of the Klingon religion. I would wish I knew the name of it. I've tried to find it. ChatGPT doesn't know, so I figured no one knows. But whatever religious beliefs you have, if at all, there's nothing we're going to talk about today that's going to run afoul of those. Trust me on this. Speaking of which, this is the linchpin of what we're talking about today. Everything that we're talking about, how to have more time with our families, starts from here. And I'm going to help you understand this verse here just a second. This is Paul talking to his friends back at the church at Ephesus, which I believe is in Greece. It might be in Turkey. He says, see then that you walk circumspectly. Don't worry about that word. It is not as fools, but as wise. Makes sense. Redeeming the time because the days are evil. Now, those words are circumspectly just means diligently. Just walk and be thorough and understanding and responsible in what you're doing. Redeeming the time. Buy back your time because the days are evil. In this case, evil means difficult. So a slightly more modern version of this would be buy back your time because the days are difficult. You know, if King James had his minions write this today, this is kind of what they would say. What does that mean, buy back your time? Well, we're going to look at this through the lens, the framework. We're going to level up our lives with the concept of be, do, have. If you're familiar with this, if you've heard this before, there's a great book. It's a fascinating book, to be honest, called 1 Minute Millionaire. I would highly recommend everyone read it. And the left-hand side of the book, all the left-hand pages, are these 1-minute habits that millionaires do or have or participate in, whatever. And then on the right-hand side pages is a novel, a fictional story about a woman who is trying to build her life as to being financially free using these habits. It's really fascinating. But be, do, have is built into this book. Also heard it from Myron Golden. He's the first one that I ran across it in its most crystalline form. And he points to where it came from originally, which is in Genesis. Everything goes back to Genesis. So here it is, very, very early on in the Bible. It says, then God blessed them being Adam and Eve. And God said to them, be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the air and the birds of the sea, fish of the sea, birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves on the earth. So you see right there already, be, do, have. He said, be fruitful, do multiply, do have dominion, do subdue, and then have dominion. Be, do, have. What's interesting in here, and I love this, there's these little nuggets you find. God blessed them first, and then he gave them their assignment. And that is, he still does that today. I mean, he does the same with us. We're all blessed with children. Children are a blessing, or so I'm told. But we get the blessing first, and then we get the sort of the instructions and assignment. I mean, don't you wish that we could get the instruction manual before we had the kids, before we got married? I mean, we all need the idiot's guide to being a father, the idiot's guide to being a husband, the idiot's guide to being a wife. But we get the blessing first, and then we get the instruction. And speaking of the idiot's guide to being a father, this is, let me embiggen this so that you get the full impact here. This is a mental image that I've had in my head for so long. You think, what in the world? I just had this image of when our kids are born, all right, from the minute they pop out, they are racing out the door. You've got 18, 19, 17, however long it is, years with your kids. and then they are out of your door, and you are no longer the parent who's raising them and teaching them. And you are in a race. They are racing ahead of you out that door, and you're racing along behind them. And you've got this picture of wisdom and knowledge of how to be a man, how to be a woman, how to be a responsible human being. All of these things you're trying to pour into them, and you're just running along behind them, trying to get as much into them as you can before they race out the door. And every day that elapses, every day that is gone is just another day that you're never going to get back. That's just that much that you weren't able to get into them. So you're constantly in this race. This time aspect is just feels like it's just dripping away. So we all want more for our family, but we also want more with our family. The reality of the situation is that right now, what you have, money, time, relationships, all of that, is the result of the things that you're doing right now based on who you are right now. I just need to warn you that as we seek to level up our lives, and I asked my sons this, who were big into gaming, and what is leveling up like in the game world? And it does require lots of effort and some sacrifice in order to get to that next level. More, having more, whatever that more means, so I put it in quotes, more always involves sacrifice. Sacrifice of some of those things we talked about: time, money, health, hopefully not health. But if nothing else, it's going to require the sacrifice of your daily routine, some part of your daily routine, your comfort zone, if nothing else. Think about it. Let's say you wanted more friends. What would you might have to sacrifice to have more friends? Well, my coworkers invited me to a party after work. I'm going to have to sacrifice some time to go to that party. I'm going to have to sacrifice some money. Talking about my health, I hope I don't have to sacrifice my health, but maybe this party is going to be, going on at a time when I would normally be going to bed. So there's a little bit of my daily routine help, but mainly that daily routine and getting out of my comfort zone. So more always requires sacrifice. Why? Why does it have to be? Why do we have to sacrifice to have more? Why can't we just have more? Because if nothing changes, then nothing will ever change. And I know that sounds obvious and it sounds like circular logic, but think about it. If you live your life in a routine and you get up and you go to work and you come home and you eat supper and you go to bed and you do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, expecting a different result, you should expect the same result from the same input. If nothing changes about your life, then you can't expect anything to change. And that is why having more always requires sacrifice. And here's the question. The most important question I'm going to ask you today. Are you willing to sacrifice to have more? Here, let's make this big. Are you willing to sacrifice to have more? Well, good news. Absolutely good news. You have been doing this your entire life and didn't even realize it. Now, if you are a Doctor Who fan, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. This was a fantastic scene that made all of us cry. But Matt Smith, as the Doctor, number 11 or 12, depending on how you view it, says we're all different people all throughout our lives. And he would not forget one day when he was the Doctor. The Doctor was me, I believe his words are. I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry. I'm not crying. You're crying. All of us are different people all throughout our lives, doing different things and having different things at each step. And we've been leveling up our lives all along without even realizing. You've already got this within you. Your DNA is coded to level up without even realizing it. So, sorry, man. Think back to, hey, can I put that up on the screen? Yes, I can. Don't make me cry. Yes. Think back to all of the different stages of your life and who you were and what you had at each of those stages. When I was a kid, I remember going into like the 9th grade, just going into high school. And I was just so ready to be out of college. I mean, I hadn't even started high school yet, and I was ready to be done. I had like 7 years of school, or no, 8 years, right? It felt like prison. It's like, I want to get on with life. I was that kid rushing out the door. So everything that I had was based on who I was then. And then we get married. I got married to my wife when we were 20. We were in college, and we were just dead broke, dirt poor. There was one weekend. I'm balancing the checkbook, if it can actually be called balancing at that point. And she's like, all right, well, how much money do we have? I said, like, negative $2.38. Oh, great. We have no food in the fridge and no money in the account. Less than no money in the account. So we managed to scrounge together enough change to go to the grocery store and buy a loaf of bread. Now, my wife at the time, we're both in school at LSU, and my wife at the time had a part-time job at a bank, big bank, that had a nice break room. So she went to work on a Saturday. She got in there. She went to the break room, and she misappropriated little packets of peanut butter and jelly. And that's what we ate on all weekend long, was a loaf of bread and misappropriated peanut butter and jelly. But I mean, we were doing everything we could. We were going to school full time. And every minute we weren't in school, we were working and we were seeing each other infrequently. So what we had was a direct result of what we were doing, which is everything we could think of based on who we were, which was college kids who were trying to make it as a married couple. So how can you level up your life to have more? Well, I came up with this chart here, and I've been told, don't geek out on your charts. I love a chart. I'm convinced, by the way, let me be emphatic about this. I'm convinced, this has nothing to do with this, that if the Apostle Paul, St. Paul, was alive today, he would absolutely use spreadsheets. That man loved him a list. He would have loved charts if the charts had been around back then, but I digress. How do you level up your life to have more? And in this case, by the way, this more that we're talking about is specifically more time and more money. We are looking for how to have more time in our lives. We're going to use the tool of money to get there. Now, let me overcome a cultural, I don't know what to call it. We've all, let me ask you this question. You don't have to type it in the chat or anything. Just answer this, finish this sentence in your head. Time is, and I bet 99% of you said money. Time is money. Time is not money. How do I know that? Well, number one, the U.S. government can print money all day long. They can't print time. And time is so much more valuable than money. How do I know that? If any of you have ever lost a loved one, a family member, I've lost both of my parents. I could not put a number on the price I would pay to have one more day with my mom and dad. They're both gone. I'm not going to cry. You're crying. $1 million, $1 billion. How much would I spend to buy back 24 hours with my parents who have passed on? You can't put a number on that. The reason you can't put a number on that is because time is so much more valuable than money. But why do we think that time is money? Because we had this drilled into us since we got our very first job. Oh, I'm making $5 an hour. I'm making $10 an hour. We had this hourly wage mindset trap. I really, really, really wanted to put Admiral Akbar going, it's a trap. But that would have been a copyright violation, and you can't do that on YouTube. So, case in point, according to ChatGPT, an iPhone 16 brand new costs $800. That might be incorrect, but for the sake of argument, let's say that it's correct. You're making $10 an hour. That iPhone is going to take you 80 hours. And you look at this thing, my goodness, $800. That is 80 hours of my life gone. My life essence sucked out of me by my job. Does anybody have a job that feels like it's sucking the life out of you? I know I have had jobs like that in the past. If you had give me a thumb. Can you give thumbs up in the chat? I don't know if you can or not. Just say yes in the chat. Have you ever had a job that driving to work felt like every mile was getting longer and longer because you just dreaded and you hated that job so much? I have had jobs before that just feel like they suck the life out of you. But anyway, so you look at this, okay, $800, that's 80 hours, 2 weeks of my life gone just for this thing. Because we think that time is money. But guys, we're here to show you a different way. Time is not money. But time can have a very positive relationship with money. Remember, this is why we're here. Buy back your time because the days are difficult. And my goodness, aren't the days getting difficult? They are getting so much more difficult. It seems like no matter what we see in the news, maybe the news would never get advertisers if they said, hey, nothing happened today. Woohoo. So specifically, how to level up. We're going to show you how to use money to buy back your time. By the way, I need to point out something here. On this chart that I love, these little red lines separating the levels, there's pain involved. Let me be emphatic. I like to use my hands to be emphatic. There is going to be some pain, some sacrifice involved in leveling up when you go from one level to the other, even if it's nothing more than the sacrifice of your regular routine. You want to come home today, you're wiped out. All you want to do is sit in your chair with a remote control in one hand and a milkshake in the other and veg out in front of the TV for 2 hours because you're just done, right? It might require some sacrifice, something as simple as that. So meet Bob. Here's Bob. Bob is a plumber. Bob has a wife and 2 kids, and Bob would love to have more time with his family. Everything he can do right now to put a roof over their head and food on their table. We've all heard that standard reply. So here's what Bob has. Bob has a job in a plumbing company because Bob's a plumber. He has enough money to get by. Sure, he would love some more money to maybe set some aside for retirement or kids' college, but Bob is making it on what he's making. And he's got some time. Man, above and beyond having the money for the dream vacation or his daughter's dream wedding, Bob would love to just have more time with his kids. So what can Bob do? Well, Bob thinks, okay, I've been told buy back my time. What's the first thing I can do? Well, I can do more. I'm a plumber. I know how to work. Let me just work more. Let me take extra shifts. Let me work extra hours. Let me do more. So Bob does that. He goes through the sacrifice, the pain as he levels up. As he goes, can I do this? As he goes from here to here, almost, he sacrifices. He goes through the pain of giving up time with his family. So now Bob has more money, but less time. He thinks, oh, this was not what I wanted at all. I wanted the other way. I wanted, sure, the money's great. Having more money is great, but I wanted more time, and now I have less time. Because how many of you can relate to Bob's instinctual reaction? I need more, so let me do more. Has anyone ever thought that the kids need braces, the car needs a new engine, whatever it is? Let me just work more at my job. Let me just sacrifice some more pieces of my soul, and so my family can have more. I mean, we as, again, I'm going to use the term fathers loosely. We as heads of family, whatever, even if it's you and the goldfish, we are willing to sacrifice of ourselves so that other people can be happy. So say, I'm just going to sacrifice more. I'm going to do more. But at some point, you run out of do. At some point, you are maxed out on what you can do. It's like you get home at the end of the day and I've got nothing left. I am doing all that I can do. Does that sound familiar to anybody? So what can Bob do? He's maxed out on his do, and he has found that doing more doesn't really get him what he wants. When you can no longer do more, now it's time to be more. So how can Bob level up his life? He's got to be more. So what more can Bob be? Well, Bob is a plumber. Well, what about if Bob became a master plumber? Right now, when Bob goes to work, same kind of work, same kind of hours, but now he's got more money because master plumbers, if you've ever hired a plumber and a master plumber, you know the difference in the invoice is significant. So now Bob's got more money doing the same job. Now, what pain was required? What did he have to sacrifice in order to level up? Bob had to go through all of those steps to be a master plumber. He had to learn more. He had to take tests. He had to prove himself to the powers that be that said, okay, you are now a master plumber. He had to sacrifice most likely time, probably a little bit of money, and some of what he is to be this master plumber. Did Bob get where he wanted to get? Oh, he's got more money, but he still doesn't have that more time. So what now can Bob be? Well, what if Bob says, hey, I'm going to go into business for myself. I'm going to be, instead of being a plumber worker, I'm going to be a plumbing business owner. So Bob opens up his own plumbing business. And what input, what sacrifice, what pain did he have to go through? Well, he's going to have to learn more. He's always going to have to learn more to level up. I've got to learn bookkeeping and accounting and permitting and licensing and how to hire people, how to train people, all these things, insurance, things I never had to worry about before. I'm going to have to invest some money in a truck and equipment, insurance. And so Bob said, oh, great, now I've got more money, but I've got even less time. Oh my goodness, we're going backwards now. So what does Bob do next? So the next step on Bob's journey, Bob says, all right, I'm going to be a plumbing business leader. I'm going to teach other people how they can go from being a worker to a master plumber to a plumbing business owner. I'm going to consult with businesses. I'm going to help business do their thing. I'm going to charge what it's worth. Now Bob's able to cut back on his hours. Now Bob's teaching plumbing to other businesses 20 hours a week. Excuse me. Instead of working 60 hours a week. He's making more money than he was at the beginning, but he has so much more time. Bob has finally leveled up, and he's finally found that way because I'm going to get to it here in just a second. Bob did the most critical thing that he can do in this area. When it comes to making more money and wanting more time, there's a step that most people miss, and that is the linchpin of what we're going to talk about today. Before we get there, you might be saying, hey, I understand. Bob did this stuff. Bob sacrificed. Bob learned. Bob did this and this and this. I don't have that kind of time. How did Bob do it? All right, remember, more always involves sacrifice. So we know that Bob had to have sacrificed something. Did he just like not see his kids for 6 months? How did Bob do this? What did Bob sacrifice? And thus the reason I asked you the question earlier, what is your average screen time? Bob sacrificed his nighttime routine of screen time small and screen time large. So the average American spends about 2.5, 2.75 hours a day on their TV. You think, well, I don't have time to watch TV. This is average statistics here. The average American spends over 5 hours on their phone. Now, sure, some of this is business related. I have a personal phone and a work phone. And if you were to look at the hours I spend on my work phone, those are 100% thereabouts. All that screen time is for work. But you look at my personal phone, how much of that is cat videos, right? So think back to your number. What was your number? And I'm gonna give you a trigger warning. This next slide is the only slide in this whole deck that comes with Surgeon General's warning about guilt. Does anybody have that relative? Because we just had Thanksgiving yesterday. Does anybody have that relative that everything their love language is guilt? Is it just me? Anyway, here's the slide, and I apologize. I'll let you read it. I'm not gonna say anything. I'll let you read it. Let it sink in before I kick you while you're down. I'm so sorry. Is your family worth sacrificing an hour a night of TV and doom scrolling time, just like Bob? Because that's what Bob did. If you are willing to sacrifice, if you say having more time with my wife or my husband, having more time with my kids is worth me giving up 60 minutes a night of Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and all those other things. Is your family worth sacrificing that hour a night? I know. You just want to sit there and you're done for the day. If nothing changes, nothing will change. But if you're willing to do this, you're willing to sacrifice like Bob, then you can do this just like Bob. And I'm going to show you 6 ways to earn extra money. An hour a day from your phone, or in one case, maybe a laptop, sitting on the same couch in that same armchair. You come home at night, you plop down, maybe you work nights, maybe you come home in the middle of the day. You plop down, you got the remote control or the phone and the milkshake or whatever beverage you like to drink. That same scenario, but now take an hour of that time and dedicate to this. I'm going to show you 6 ideas where you can earn extra money. Hang on. Where do we get to the buying back our time? I'm going to get there. There's a critical element, and I'm not releasing it just yet. There's a critical element. I'm going to tease it here. Don't be Scrooge McDuck. All right? Don't let me forget that critical element. So what are these ideas? Let me get rid of my, you can see that. I'm going to just run through them, and I'll go through them in a little bit of detail because we don't have time. I'm trying my best to schedule today's training session between the morning game to the end of the morning game. I looked at the scores. None of those games are competitive right now. It's okay. And the afternoon game, the Egg Bowl kicks off in half an hour. I'm going to get you out of here before the Egg Bowl. So social media, local business service. I'll get into that one. That means just a second. Trading. You think I can't trade? Trust me, you can trade. E-commerce, income investing, and e-real estate. Let me dive into what these mean. All right, first and foremost, social media. Making content that will earn you money on social media comes down to, I need to be emphatic here. Sorry about that. There we go. Comes down to 2 things. What do you know and what do you like? And I know you think, Pepper, social media is saturated. There's so much. No one wants to know what I've got in my head. No one's going to pay me for that. 2 things. Myron Golden has a great phrase saying whatever concept. You and I undervalue what you know because you're the one that knows it, right? A dear friend of mine loves to spend his time with his chainsaw cutting wood. And he did not think that he should start a social media channel. He's a preacher. I said, dude, put your sermons online. People are going to love this. He said, no one wants to hear that. I'm like, imagine this. The first time you picked up a chainsaw and you did not know how to sharpen a chainsaw, how much would you be willing to pay to watch a video that instantly got you the expert knowledge on how to sharpen that chainsaw? But the guy who made that video is like, I can't make this video. No one cares about sharpening a chainsaw. People, I kid you not, there's a video online on YouTube right now. Does anybody know those little glass bottles you get at the grocery store of peppercorns? Or sometimes it's like rock salt. And it has a little twisty top at the top, right? That grinds it up. It's like a built-in peppercorn. I think it's all $3. There's a video on YouTube on how to remove the cap so that you can refill it. It's got 10 million views. Somebody out there overcame the natural thought of no one is going to watch a video on how to remove the screw top of a disposable pepper grinder, and there's 10 million people who have watched it. Social media just boils down to what do you know and what do you like? Do you have a phone and a mouth? I guarantee you everybody here has a phone and a mouth. Case in point, my favorite YouTube channel. My wife and I watch this all the time. These people started off in 2017 just simply with their iPhone taking videos of the cruises they went on. Then they said, hey, let's sign up for the Amazon affiliate program, which is absolutely free, and let's start recommending some of the things we're already using. By the way, I'm doing this starting tonight. Cruise Gadgets goes online tonight with the first review of the relief band that changed my life. They each had separate full-time jobs. Now, the husband cruises full-time, makes all of his money from what he's doing on social media. The wife has changed her job from what she was doing to she's now a travel agent. She works from the cruise ship. So they started this on the side, spending a little bit of time doing something they already were doing anyway, what they liked and what they knew. And now they're doing it full-time and making enough money that they're cruising over 6 months a year. It just boils down to what do you know and what do you like? So that's step number one. Anyone can today start a social media content creation channel from whatever it is and start earning money today. Number two, local business server. What did I talk about? I'm not talking about, when I say local business, I don't mean Walmart or Exxon. I mean Bob's Plumbing, Bob's Donuts, Bob's Dry Cleaner. Bob's got a lot of businesses. They live and die off reviews and they don't have time for it. Do you know somebody who has a small business? Do you care about that person? Does that person have have you looked on their reviews on Google and looked at their reviews and thought, who is this idiot who's bad-mouthing my friend by saying they didn't get there whatever within 10 seconds? We have a way, I can show you this so dead simple easy, of helping these people have more good reviews and fewer negative reviews and improve their overall customer retention. It's a 10-second sales pitch for them. And you can do this sitting in your chair with your phone. Just go to Google Maps and look for the places you're already going. Look for the businesses that you already know the owner. And just look at their reviews and then say, hey, guy, call them up. Give them the 10-second sales pitch. I've got a way that'll help you get more good reviews and fewer negative reviews and improve your customer retention. Is that worth a 5-minute conversation? One conversation a week can earn you, thousands of dollars a year. This is so easy to do, and we can show you how to do this. This costs nothing. Got trading. I mentioned before that trading is something that you can do. Now, a lot of you say, "Hey, trading is complicated. Trading is it's hard, right?" Trading is a skill. Has anybody out there heard of the famous French philosopher Gusteau? All right, they made a documentary about him years ago. They called it Ratatouille. It's misunderstood. Gusteau said, "Anyone can cook." Because cooking is a skill. Guys, anyone can trade. Trading is a skill. I used to juggle here online to show you that trading is a skill like juggling. And if I can juggle, anyone can juggle. And then the juggling balls hit my keyboard, and that was the end of the live stream, so now I don't juggle. Trading is a skill like juggling, like cooking, like sharpening a chainsaw. Anyone can learn to trade. Now, trading does require a small amount of money to make money. But while you're developing that skill, you can absolutely do this with no money involved whatsoever. And we have resources available at Godly Trading Pro that we can teach you and come along and hold your hand through the whole process. Trading offers the most amazing opportunity for anyone to lift their family out of their current financial situation and put them on a path towards financial freedom. It's such a low bar to entry. So there's trading, there's e-commerce. Again, same concept. What do you know? What do you like? I could sell cruises to someone who works on a cruise ship. I could talk a blue streak about cruising. If I could find a way to sell cruises, you'd never see me again. I wouldn't live stream ever again. I'd probably live stream about cruising at that point. What is it what is it that you use during the course of a day that you love? Do you have a widget, a gadget, a t-shirt, a business, or whatever it is that you could talk a blue streak about because you believe in it that much or you love it that much? That's all e-commerce is. Doesn't cost any money. Here's one that I've recently got into. This one costs some money to invest. And by the way, I have ordered these 6 ideas in order from number 1, least expensive to most expensive. I don't mean expensive, but $0 input to some dollars input, 0 time to some time, phone to laptop. So if you understand the 1 to 6. So here's one that requires some money. So 5 investment vehicles that are traded on the stock market. I put $1,000 into these, and every month they spit out $12.50 to me. I think, okay, fantastic. Woohoo, $12.50. We can go to McDonald's one time. Yeah, but imagine this. Imagine I didn't put 1,000 into it. Imagine I put 2,000 into it. Okay, great, Pepper. I spit out $25 a month. Fantastic. Okay. My water bill, here, let me be emphatic again. My water bill is about $25 a month. If I put $2,000 into this account, I would never have to worry about paying my water bill ever again for the rest of my life. Do you see what I'm saying there? Here's a machine. I put a certain amount into it, and every month it says, I got your water bill covered. Don't worry. I got your water bill covered. Don't worry. Imagine you take this approach to your water bill, your phone bill, your car payment, your rent or your mortgage. You're feeding this machine with a certain amount of money that every month it kicks out enough. Sure, you build up to it, but it kicks out enough to cover those things. And suddenly you're like, hang on a minute. All of my bills are being covered by these things that are just kicking out money every month. You're not going to get there overnight, but you'll get there eventually. And by the way, what's that called? That's called financial freedom when you get there. Then you quit your job. Anyway, you can absolutely start sitting in your chair, $10 a week, $10 a month, $10 a day, whatever it is. Easy to do. Lastly, I mentioned real estate thinking I don't have the money for real estate. There's a brand new thing out there. Basically, crowdfunding, crowdsourcing for real estate. You and 1,000 other people go in together and buy an apartment building or an Airbnb or whatever. And this is last on the list because it's the least fluid, right? You just locks your money up for a while, but it's the same thing. You put your money in and it spits money back out at you. Again, you're going to have to build your time up for it, build your pool of money up for this. But it's another easy way for you to start. This is a journey, guys. Start this journey towards financial freedom, which frees up your time for your family. You've got to start today, and it can easily be done. Doesn't require anything other than a phone. All right, I mentioned I'm going to have to, there's an element here that's missing. And this is it. This is the most important slide. I said I had a most important question, which was, where am I at? The most important question was, what are you willing to sacrifice? The second most important question, which came with a side order of guilt, are you willing to sacrifice an hour of doom scrolling for your family? This is the most important element. Don't just earn more. Buy back your time. Don't just earn more. Don't be Scrooge McDuck with a giant vault full of gold coins that he goes swimming in somehow. I'm not sure if that's how physics works, but don't just earn more. Offset your time. Offset your new income by time. Offset your time with your new income. Here's what I mean. Here's some ways to buy back your time. Hire someone to do the stuff you can't stand to do. I despise grocery shopping with the passion of 1,000 suns. It is ridiculous. Who hates grocery shopping? I do. Don't know why. So what do I want to do? I want to pay someone to go grocery shopping for me. And what do? I get an hour a week back. That's 52 hours a year that I can add back to my life, that I can spend with my family because I've paid someone else. I've earned extra, right? $12.50 a week or a month or whatever it is in those, all these different things. I think I'm earning an extra $100 a month on doing a thing. I give somebody $50 to DoorDash and run down and pick up the groceries that are being delivered from and suddenly that $50 has earned me back an hour a week. Oh my goodness. In some ways, those hours can be multiplied by how you feel about those hours, right? 1 hour in the grocery store feels like 10. Some people, like me. But imagine that you're earning enough that you can replace your spouse's income, or you can cut back on your own hours. So here's what you do. You say, where do I need to be financially? Let me establish a baseline. This is where I want to be. Sure, anyone can always want more money. Anyone can always Scrooge McDuck swimming around in the money. But this is the amount of money that above which I don't need more money. And that's a foreign concept, say I don't need more money. We have this baseline here. So every dollar that you earn above that line, you cut back down below the line on time to bring it back down to where it was. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? That is the key. You offset the money that you're making extra by time that you're giving up. So I say, okay, I earn $10 an hour. I don't know what I'm saying. Let's say, for example, I earn $10 an hour. Well, I'm now earning an extra $50 a week. So I'm going to work an hour less a day. I'm going to imagine this, guys. If all this did, let me be very emphatic. If all this did was get you home an hour earlier every day, what would that mean for your family? Not even just the time with them. Imagine if you could miss that traffic that always seems to leave at the same time you do. You ever look out the window at work, you're like, oh, you know what? There's quitting times in a half an hour. Traffic's not that bad. And then you walk out the door like, where did these cars come from? Why is everyone on the same road at the same time with me, going the same direction? Why are they going so slow? And then you get home and you're miserable. Imagine if that extra hour a day not only got you an extra hour with your family, but got you an extra hour with your family not irritated from traffic. If all this did was get you home an extra hour earlier that day, what would that mean to your family? So 1 hour a day times 5 days a week times 52 weeks a year, that's 260 hours that you could earn back. So that's 11 days. Imagine if I said, hey, Pepper, imagine if you could buy 11 days with your parents back. Over the course of, my mom died in 2008 and I was 34 at the time. So 11 days times 34 years. Imagine if I could buy back whatever that is. What is that? I don't know what that is. Somebody do 11 times 34 and put it in the chat. Let me know what that is. That's how many days back that I would absolutely love to have with my parents. Not going to cry. You're crying. If all this did was get you back an extra hour a day, what's that look like on a yearly? Bureau of Labor Statistics, if you can trust government numbers, says that the average hourly wage in the U.S. is $11.21. I don't know if that's true or not. That's what the government says. It's not true. But anyway, at an hour a day, $2,900 a year. That's what the government would put a price on that. So don't miss this, guys. Yes, this is about how to earn extra money. But the most important thing is what to do with that money. You have to remember why. You have to keep your why in the front of your mind at all times. I'm not just out there trying to accumulate money. I'm not out there for a better car. I'm not out there for a better house or the dream vacation. I'm out there for more time with my family. And now I'm making an extra $500 a week. It's time for me to cut back to part-time at my job. You see what I'm saying, where I'm going with this? Now I'm making an extra $1,000 a week. It's time for me to cut back to really part-time. Or, hey, time for my wife to quit her job. Right? I have bought back family time. It's not my time, maybe, but I've bought back family time. Now she can stay home with the kids. Or I could buy my goldfish to another friend. You see what I'm saying here? The most important thing is, as you earn, you buy back your time. And we've got to, there's only so much I can show you in this hour. If someone out there, I know I'm on several different channels, someone's out there, I'm trying to get out. We got 15 minutes, 60 minutes till the Egg Bowl kicks off. I'm going to get you out of here on time. But if I can just spend 5 to 7 more minutes to show you something, I sincerely hope everyone out there takes this information and runs with it. Go start you a YouTube channel today. Reach out to me at pepper@godlytrading.com, and I can show you this local business service plan that doesn't cost you anything, and you can help these businesses. Won't cost you anything. Take these and run with them today and start your family on a course towards financial freedom. Start building that inheritance to leave to your children's children. But some of you might think, I need a little extra. So if it's okay with Can I spend 5 more minutes to show you something? Just let me know in the chat. Can I just put me a yes? I can spend 5 more minutes. Because I know that some people out there might say, gosh, I don't know where to start. You give me a list, but what does that even mean? All right, good. Thank you. So we've got this thing here we've got for you called Godly Family Man. This is a 10-week training course. So it's a 6-month program overall, and it starts with a 10-week intense training course to get you up and running, to help you not get off the couch with the remote and the milkshake, but get going on the couch with the remote and the milkshake. So what is it? What does this involve? Let me get rid of my face. So here's what you get when you join Godly. It should say Godly Family Man Pro. I do apologize for that. First thing we're going to do is we're going to have a one-on-one call together, and we're going to find out where you are. What do you have? What do you in the grand scheme of B do have? We're not all just one thing, right? I mean, as far as B is concerned, yes, I am a business owner, and I have a YouTube social media channel. I'm a trader. I'm also a landscape architect, and I've done construction. So in the grand scheme of B, there are several things. So we're all more than one thing. First thing we're going to do is we're going to sit down with a one-on-one call and say, where are you? What do you want? Let's map out a personalized path to get there together. And what is that by itself worth? If all we did was map that out for you, what would that be worth? Would it be worth one of these? I had one of these yesterday. I was surprised they were open. After that, we're going to show you Bob's plan. Here is where we can find that time in your day to do what Bob did. We're going to carve out a specific plan for you following this practical training on how to get there. What is that worth? Is that one of these a day? I hope. These things are probably terrible for you, or so I'm told. What's the value of that? And then we're going to go through the last 6 weeks. We're going to take one of these ideas each week, and we're going to do an individual course on how to get each one of these going. All right, we're going to have a success path that starts with the easy one, social media. And what do you know and what do you like? And how can we make money doing that? And then we're going to go to this local service one. Which businesses are you just over the moon about? Who is your Bob's plumber, right? Who can you help in your local area? And each week we're going to dive into these one by one. What is that worth to you? Is that worth a couple of these a month? And then lastly, we're going to have this ongoing support for you. We're going to have a community of people. And that's really honestly where the most value is in these people where you're going to show up and say, guys, I'm struggling with this thing. And somebody's going to say, hey, I was struggling with that last week, and then this is how I overcame it. And somebody else says, hey, I think this is coming up on the horizon for me. And so you learn from one another. The other thing is we're not just going to give you the information and cut you loose. We're going to, for lack of a better term, hold your hand through this. Check in on you. How are you doing? Have you done steps 1, 2, and 3 of our personalized plan? How is this affecting your family life? All right. Are you giving up doom scrolling time, or are you giving up family time? These things, we're going to be there with you for the full 6 months of, we're going to have one-on-one, and then we're going to have group time with that. What is that worth? Is that worth giving up maybe a couple of these? And you think, why are you giving us these examples? So I had 2 choices with this. I love this information. I am passionate, as you can probably tell. I'm passionate about this. I'm running out of time. I'm passionate about this, and I want everyone to free their families from the shackles that life gives us. And I could have just said, here's a course. Everyone go take the course, have fun. And, Walmart price it and just spit it out there. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make sure that you are staying on track. And too many times, too many people fall through the cracks, get lost because they just needed that one person to say, how are you doing? Check in on them. I have a guy that he and I meet every day with trading. And it's not about, did you take this trade, take that trade? How are you doing today? What's your mindset right? How's this affecting your family? Those kinds of things. So given that, and given that we're going to have one-on-one sessions and Zoom calls, there's only so many people that can fit in that time frame. I decided I'm going to have to charge a little bit more for this. And for the most part, it's about $6 a day normally. What do you mean normally? The price as of not today, it's $827 for this 6-month training course, 6 months training and membership. Any other day but today, that's what it is. There's a whole story behind 827. I'm not going to get into it today. But it's not today, because today is Black Friday. And I forgot to change this slide, but I was on Danny's Black Friday event earlier today. It's $497 That's the price for it. That's less than $4 a day. Is your family worth? This is $4 a work day, not $4 a calendar day. Is your family worth whatever $4? It's like $3.98, something like that a day. So it's $4.97. And if you take the time and do it today before Black Friday is over with, I've got something else for you. You can sign up and get a 2-week trial for free, absolutely for free. It will cost you nothing. And at the end of 2 weeks, if you say, hey, I'm not interested, it hasn't cost you anything. You cancel, no big deal. You get back your time. You can't get back your time, but you will have learned so much already. Keep whatever you've learned already, and it charges nothing. So remember that number that the Bureau of Labor Statistics put out there. It was it $11.21 an hour, and we came up with this number. If all this did was gain you back 1 hour a day, 1 measly hour a day, that's $2,900 for the year that you would have gotten back if you make $11.21 an hour. Well, the price of this, $497, that's almost a 6x return. In the trading world, I would absolutely love a 2x return. Most of the time go for 1.5, and that's reasonable. A 6 times return is a one-time expense for information and skills you'll carry with you for the rest of your life. So if you are interested in this, and again, take the information and run with it on your own. Absolutely. You don't have to pay me a dime. But if you need some extra, go to godlyfamilyman.com and you can sign up there, free 2-week trial. And we will start next week mapping out a path for your family to have success. Now, do you have any questions? I'm going to go into a couple of questions that people asked in the last session. If you have any questions, put it in the chat, please, and I will answer them. So first question is, hey, well, what if I want what if it doesn't work? What if I made a mistake? What if I'm just not ready? I sign up for it and in 2 weeks and 1 day elapses, and can I get my money back? Absolutely. You can absolutely get my money back. Give you your money. I'm not here to take anybody's money. I'm here to help you. Well, hey, why are you charging for it? People who pay attention. I have given free memberships to people before, and they don't do anything with it. You think you will, but you end up not. My wife and I went on a cruise recently, and we were given some onboard credit because we own stock in the company. You get $100 shares of the Carnival stock, and you get $100 credit on board. And we spent like half of it, and we couldn't know what to do with the rest of it. And I'm thinking, you know what? Don't worry about it. It's just monopoly money anyway. I didn't value the money because I didn't sacrifice to get it. So that is the main reason people who pay attention. So, but if you haven't gotten started, if 3 weeks goes by and you say this isn't for me, I'm just not ready yet. I just want to sit in my chair and watch my TV and doom scroll. You can absolutely get your money back. Question: what about this is at $497? What if I don't have that in one lump sum? Can I pay? Yes, absolutely. If you go on the website godlyfamilyman.com, there's a monthly payment program. It's a little bit more because it's somebody could show up and get 2 months in and cancel. It's $97 a month if you just want to pay monthly. 6-month program, which leads to the next question. What happens after 6 months? We're not going to cut you loose. 6 months, at that point, we've got a whole other sort of maintenance, ongoing accountability program that we can put you into where we're checking in with you, not as often because you don't need it anymore, but we're still checking in with you. We're not cutting you loose. So all of that, guys, go to godlyfamilyman.com and sign up. It's not going to cost you a thing. So if you are ready to sacrifice a little bit of your doom scrolling video chat time at night, still sitting on your couch to give your family a better financial future, then I would encourage everyone out there, just sign up for the 2-week free trial. It's not going to be here tomorrow. Tomorrow the price goes up and the 2-week free trial goes away. So this is a Black Friday only thing. Go to godlyfamilyman.com. I want to thank everybody for being here. I said I'd get you out of here before the Egg Bowl. We have 5 minutes left before the next football game kicks off. Thank all of you for being here. Thank you for in the chat for monitoring that for me. If there are no other questions, I appreciate you. I'm here. You can reach out to me anytime. Pepper@godlytrading.com. You can reach me there anytime. You can go to Facebook, and we have Facebook groups, both Godly Trading and Godly Family Man. You can find us there as well. So with that, thank you for being here, and I will see you all next time.